Hey guys, this is Mark Nedjma from newsweed.com. I started reporting the news about a year ago when I started to really try to promote Newsweed, but I kind of dropped it because I was too busy involved with the market. But I'm going back to it. I've cut all my costs basically from the site, so I'll be able to kind of throw things together on a daily basis. I happen to follow the news constantly. That's what I do because I'm an investor. I think the news is always important. I had a teacher back when I was a kid who used to always test us on current events, and it just kind of caught on. I can't remember her name right now, but she was a pretty older woman, a great teacher. I think she didn't give me a good grade, but she did have an impact on my life. So let's go over the news today. Today's a pretty big day because they're going to actually broadcast the trial of the insurrection. Most of your stations except Fox is going to cover it. The Republicans today came out and said that the trial is a sham and that it's a joke. Most of the liberal stations are trying to make a correlation between Watergate and the Nixon time period of the 1970s, believe it or not, and Donald Trump. What's interesting is how oil prices are way up. Inflation is way high, just like in the 1970s. And here we are comparing the insurrection to and what happened there with actions of Donald Trump and Nixon. It's something that you should really think about because perception and what goes on in the world today is so manipulated that I hope that all of you will pay attention to the facts behind it. I'm going to watch it, and I think that it should be very interesting. Most people think that the insurrection was kind of a setup, the way they had all these people and basically they just let them in. It's terrible that the one woman, former Air Force person, got shot and killed. And it's unfortunate that we didn't have a military or security enough to actually hold back our own citizens. Something very important to think about. If we're such a powerful nation, then how is it that people can actually walk to the building and get in? It makes me feel like a very, very weak citizen of a very, very weak country. Anyway, in another country, Putin's on a roll. In Russia, he considers himself equal to the 1725 Emperor Peter the Great. Now, Peter the Great was a pretty important guy to Russia because he kind of modernized things and created some universities. He created St. Peter's University and another one, but he considered himself the Emperor of Russia. Is Putin considering himself the Emperor of Russia? It might be. People get caught up again in their own minds, and Putin may think that he just controls the world. In another country, in Africa, the head of a spy agency caught the president stealing his cattle from his ranch. So this guy, Fraser, who was the spy head, is accusing this guy Ramaphosa of stealing. Now Ramaphosa came out and said, "Well, I sold all the cattle and the proceeds got stolen." So it's a crazy world out there. These are countries where the spy guy is accusing the president. I love it. It's just amazing. As far as theft goes, there's another theft that's happening right now. And that is that Russia is stealing the wheat from Ukraine. Well, this may be a good thing anyway, because it's probably better we stop eating bread. Bread, I understand, turns to sugar. It's a carb. And then it creates type 2 diabetes. So we're all going to be healthier without the bread. Keep the wheat, Putin, and I hope you die of diabetes. Anyway, tomorrow, another big moment in economics. The CPI will come out. If it's way high, like 9, you can expect stocks to drop. If the stocks drop, it'll be a surprise, actually, or not such a surprise. Gas is up to $4.95. a gallon, some cases $5 and more. I think in California with their taxes, it's even higher. Now, that's another point I wanted to tell you. All these states, like New Jersey, like California, like most of your liberal states, have a gas tax. If the tax is, if the gas is $1 and they get, let's say, 10%, they make 10 cents. If the gas is $5, they make 50 cents tax. Now think about it. At the price when they put the tax in, if that tax that they knew was going to be collected was enough, then why haven't they lowered the tax on gas? A lot of money coming out of your pocket, not only for gas, but for more money for the politicians to take from you to give back to you. And you better vote for those people that give back the tax, because if you don't, you're going to get whacked. Anyway, let's move on. CPI will be high because of gas, because of food. Because Putin is stealing the wheat, it's nobody's fault here that we stop the farmers from farming and we stop the workers from working. But it's not our fault. It's Putin's fault. There was a not-so-funny old man on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and he was talking about the press and begging for a way to get rid of documents. He made a funny joke. He says, let's call Trump. He can help me get rid of the documents. Anyway, President Biden hit the Jimmy Kimmel show last night, and Yahoo only pointed out the fact that he made that joke. But really, there were other stories involved in the interview. One is that Biden said that inflation is just part of our country, and it's an important part, and we should just accept it. Well, I would say tell that to the families that are having a fight because there's not enough money. Tell that 6 months from now when the husband has to leave the house because the wife is accusing him of not being a good provider. Tell that to the kids who start taking drugs and leave the house because the parents are fighting. I would say that it's irresponsible not to pay attention to your economy and not to manage things so that the economy stays steady. And the last note of today, which is not that important but sort of important, there was a protester tackled today in LA. The woman ran out in front of the presidential motorcade, and she had a bullhorn, and she was going to say something, but the Secret Service dragged her down. She was dangerous because, number one, she had on a tank top. Tank. Anyway, she was rushed, tackled down. She fought off. Supposedly she was protesting for abortion, but it could have been that she was protesting over gas prices because she was on foot, and down the road you did see some young kids pushing a car. It might have been that they were out of gas. Well, that's the news for today. Sorry if it was kind of boring, but that's just the way it goes. This is Mark from newsweed.com. I'm going to try to do this every day. It's so easy, and I watch the news anyway. So just remember, it's never as it seems.